beaming into your mind like a ray of cosmic revelation, smashing through the mainstream like a comet of prophecy. You are listening to Planet Vrilock. Welcome to the program. Yes, smashing through the mainstream. Now, what could be cooler than that? I'll tell you what's not so cool is being a mainstream do-gooder, obedient dog to the system. That's uber uncool and uber not fun. So, let's talk about what is uber cool and what is ultimately the fun that we're all going to have in the Vrilock experience. Well, tonight's podcast is so gloriously named, Why the Villain Image? I mean, what's up with the mask, buddy? What's that all about? Would you think I'm being dishonest by wearing a mask? Let me tell you something. The real bad guys are the ones sweet-talking to you in your ear, smiling at you on the television, with that glint of glee in their eyes because they are pathological liars and manipulators. That's actually uber uncool. I think that my mask, while it is sort of a paradox here, but I think it's more honest, the image that I am projecting to you. Yes, indeed. Well, the mask makes me feel better. I mean, I could talk all about how my life led up to this role that I'm playing, but I might instead direct your attention to the alternative, which is to be owned by other people's views. Being routinely singled out kind of helps you make up your mind, but if you don't have that, you really must think. Consider this: individual strength. Yes, independent of the support of other people. Strength from yourself, not from others. So then if I'm evil, by whose definition? Indeed, playing the game of life on my own terms gives me a certain satisfaction. A satisfaction most people can't find, because you're living by other people's terms, other people's views. I'm fighting smart, not stupid. You see, people expect the barbarous response, commonly associated with the average criminal. But let me tell you, well, most criminals are villains. Not all villains are criminals. Sometimes we even end up being rather heroic, but always because of our own will, and not by any obligations to other people's point of view. Right. By being my own man, I have more energy to spend on my own interest. And ultimately, that gives me more time for my own pursuits. And it's all a matter of thinking. I own my life because I do not have to live up to other people's standards or point of view. For those of you out there who are looking to improve financially or to have some feeling of success in your life, I offer this. Do not think of money as in terms of a figure in a ledger book. Do not look at other people's lifestyle and measure your own or compare your own to that standard. Only you can decide for yourself what is success, because you'll know it when you feel happy and when you feel satisfied that you're having some success. I mean, I've lived different lifestyles, having worked such a wide variety of jobs in different industries. And so I've had all different kinds of incomes, and I've lived in all different manner of living situations, from relatively pretty good what some people might say high-end, but I didn't really think so. Down to living in a small cottage, living in a mobile home, living in an apartment, house, and so on. And I've experienced all of these, and really the material value of things doesn't constitute a feeling of satisfaction or success. Success is rather a fluid lifestyle, a feeling, and only you can decide that for yourself. So I offer that you don't live up to other people's standards, and instead you get into exploring yourself and finding out more about you, because I bet there's something more to you than you thought of before. If you look for it, you have talents, perhaps talents you might not be aware of. You might spend some time contemplating this and thinking about who you are. And by golly, enjoy yourself. Like who you are. That is the secret. You know, there's all manner of injustice in this world. You know, there are some things in this world that build up such a powerful energy of indignation. I mean, I could just feel it. My stomach on fire sometimes. But when we accept that the world is what it is, and that we have to push to make our brand, when we have to fight to make our mark in the world, when we accept this, we experience a certain liberation and freedom. Regardless of how good or bad one is. Well, because this podcast is more about me and why I choose the villain image for my mascot of the Vrilock experience, I might talk a little bit about myself here and where I draw my alignment. While I do have what some people would call a good heart, I'm not altogether entirely a do-gooder type of person. The obligation sometimes can be a source of, consistent annoyance, really. I prefer to think of myself as, I'll pretty much leave you alone if you leave me alone. I'm one of those types of people. And so I don't avidly go out and look for targets. I'm not a predator type of person. In fact, I don't have much patience for those type of people. While I do have sort of that elite type of attitude in the way I project my content, I am not in the White Shoes Club. I wouldn't be a very good fit for any of those type of special interest groups, because I simply couldn't get into the group-mindedness, and I absolutely wouldn't do some of the things that they purportedly do, such as the sacrificing of children and things like that. I would never get into something like that. That's not me. But by the same token, I'm not going to throw myself off a bridge to catch some stranger who willingly dives off a bridge. I'm not doing that. I'm not Spider-Man. Batman might be a little closer. Perhaps sometimes I feel like the Punisher, but like I said, I don't go out of my way to get other people. That's just not me. But the mask does have that villain kind of feel to it. And I think there's a story to tell behind that I would like you to read about. It's in my books, my ebooks. I have a trio. It's called the VPG Trio. That's for Vrilock Practical Guide. You can get all three of my ebooks, the Metaphysics of Self-Mastery, the Miraculous Prayer Board Guide, the Wondrous Wheel. All three, you can download those and read them and dive straight into my story. or you can listen to the short audio versions, which are basically a briefing of my ebooks in audiobook form that you can enjoy listening while you drive, work out at the gym, or just kicking back on the couch with a cafe macchiato or whatever it is that you drink, and enjoy my story and learn how I came to be Mr. Vrilock, the man behind the mask, because there is a story, a supernatural story, and it's real, and you want to know about it. I know you do. I love the story myself. I lived this life. It's had its ups and downs, and there's only two things you can really do in life. You have two choices. You can either laugh or you can cry, and I prefer the former, and I hope you'll join me, and together we'll just rock through this life incarnation together in my Vrilock program. Join my club, subscribe to my awesome newsletter, and get great deals on my ebooks, audiobooks, and other materials. So until next time, keep the magic high. This is your host, Tom Vrilock, signing out.